Hello guys, this is Everything Fish. This is now the third video of the tank topic series, and I really can't believe how well this is doing, so thanks for everybody who's been watching it. So, today's topic is the nitrogen cycle. Yes, that dreaded process, otherwise known as new tank syndrome, that can wreak havoc on uneducated keepers' tanks, because if you don't know about this, you got some real trouble if you got a tank. Now, the nitrogen cycle, while complicated, can be explained fairly easily. There are many different websites, too, that can explain this to you if you still don't understand after this video, so just look up nitrogen cycle. So first off, what is the nitrogen cycle? Well, the answer to that in a simple response, it is the colonization or buildup of nitrifying bacteria that converts ammonia in a tank into nitrite and then into nitrate. Like I said earlier, if you get a new tank and you have no idea what you're doing, meaning you'd probably put fish in like a day after you got it, you're going to kill all those fish more than likely. So if you want to avoid killing all those fish, you need to first cycle the tank or be educated on cycling. Now, cycling can be a long process. Fully cycling a tank can take anywhere from as short as 3 weeks up to 8 weeks, because each portion, as I call it, of the cycle takes a certain amount of time, and that will vary depending on your specific tank, so don't expect the same results in every tank you cycle. So you might have one tank that takes 4 weeks, and then you get another tank that takes 9 weeks or so. It just depends on what you're doing. But first, the ammonia spikes, then it goes down, and the nitrites spike, and they go down, and finally the nitrates spike. Nitrates with an A, not an I. And the only way to get rid of them is through filtration and water changes, which is a big part of it, so don't you ever skip water changes. I'm going to be doing a tank topic on that in a couple weeks, so if you want to watch that, feel free to. I also do feel the need to mention, sorry I can't talk today, for those of you who don't know, ammonia and nitrite are much more toxic than nitrate, which is still bad, but it's not nearly as bad. Okay, so back into the time of a cycle. If you do a fishless cycle, it's not going to take as long, and that's where it starts to become a controversial topic. See, there are 3 main ways you can cycle a tank, including fish cycling, fishless cycling, and plant cycling. I'm not going to get too much into plant cycling. Might do that in a later video, but for now I'm keeping it basic. Most people do not support cycling a tank with fish if you've been in the hobby for a while others argue there are safe ways to do it. Personally, I think that fish cycling is fine, as long as you use very, very hardy fish and do water changes very often, like every 1 to 3 days, preferably as often as you can. Now, if you're going to do a fish cycle in a tank, I would only recommend doing so if you have an established tank already. Why I say this is, if you have an established tank, you can take some gravel from it, otherwise known as seeded gravel, and put it in your cycling tank, which will help increase the amount of mature nitrifying bacteria. You can also take filter media from an established tank and put it in your new tank's filter to help seed your new filter's biological filtration if you have the same type of filter. Now, I do feel the need to tell people what negative effects cycling with fish can have before they decide on it. The first negative effect that can happen during the ammonia phase of the cycle, what can happen is your fish's gills can be burned by the ammonia, or they can get ammonia poisoning, both of which will severely hurt your fish. So if you're going to do a fish cycle like I am, you better know what you're doing. Next negative effect comes with nitrite, which is probably the worst of the two. What happens with too much nitrite is the oxygen to blood exchange in your fish will slow down, which giving them less oxygen, meaning it's harder for them to breathe, which is terrible. They can also get the condition known as brown blood, which will shorten their lifespan. From too much nitrite. Sorry guys, I just can't talk today. So be sure to watch out for too much ammonia or nitrite. Neither in an established tank, you don't have any detectable amount of either of those. But nitrate is highly less toxic and is not going to hurt your fish too much unless it gets above about 60 ppm. Preferably, you should keep it below 40 though. And so that about sums up the nitrogen cycle. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Everything Fish. See you next time.